Mark Sanchez story because a lot has been unfolding, so I'm
Mm-hmm.
going to explain it to the best of my abilities. So, Mark Sanchez is now facing a felony battery charge after a stabbing incident involving a 69-year-old truck driver. The driver, parked at a hotel loading dock to collect used cooking oil, was confronted by Sanchez, who claimed the truck couldn't be there, citing the hotel manager. Reports say Sanchez followed the driver, blocking his access to the truck, and shoved him. The driver states he feared for his life, used pepper spray, which briefly affected Sanchez, and then when Mark went at him again, the driver stabbed him 2 or 3 times in the chest. So in the end, Mark Sanchez definitely had the gashes from the stabbing, but he walked away. The driver, on the other hand, was in the hospital and he suffered a severe gash to the side of his face, penetrating all the way through his left cheek. So that's a lot to unpack. And then just hearing the story, still unfolding more details to see what happens to Mark Sanchez next. But Mike, after hearing that, what were your initial thoughts on this news?
I don't know. I didn't know what to make of it. What would make Mark attack this man in such a way, you know? And then I heard they were drinking and stuff, and then you start saying, "Wow, that behavior into that level and going to that place, knowing that you are here to do a football game, knowing what this can escalate to." Yeah, that's something to worry about. It really is. It really is. Like, I don't know if you're having drinks and it alters who you are, and if it's coming from some way it affects you. You know, I don't know what's going on with him. But that's obviously something wrong there. For Mark, who we've seen a million times as a reasonable man, you hear him talking about the game, to even go to that level, that blows my mind. I can't make any sense of it.
Yeah, this is crazy. I must say this. When I'm thinking about Mark Sanchez, I thought he was just a great guy. This doesn't sound like him, but when you hear the details thus far, and things can be changed, but based upon what I've heard thus far, it sounds like reverse racism. A lot of times people just think they're better than other people, and it comes out when you're drunk. When people are drinking, it seems like how they really feel deep down comes out. It's almost like what happens with being a Karen. But I don't know if they got a name for guys, like people that just follow people and try to impose what they think should happen. And it's sad that they got to this place. But when you play football, your rushing somebody is going to be different than just a regular civilian rushing somebody. And the guy defended himself. So this is crazy.
But this is not something that we hear Mark does all the time. That's why I'm saying there's something here that we're overlooking. We're caught up in the details and the graphics of the story. You can even tell how a 69-year-old man, like Mark beating up this old man, stuff like that, when you understand how we're talking. But if we think about it, there's something going on. We've never seen Mark act this way. There's something that triggered. No way I could believe that just for no reason he wanted to walk down and go attack this 69 this man that's just trying to deliver his truck or deliver whatever he was delivering from his truck.
Yeah, Mike, why do you believe it needs to be something else? Not that we don't respect Sanchez, but if somebody rush you and then do all the things that he said, somebody's
Right.
following you already. Let's just say this is you as a football player. Somebody's already following you. And now you notice that they may be drunk, and then those are already 2 red flags, and then the next thing you know, the guy's just rushing you. What do you think the response is gonna be? Are you gonna pray with him? What are you gonna do at
No,
that point?
what I'm saying though is this is something that we've never heard before, and something must have happened to trigger it this time. You know what I mean? I'm sure Mark's been drinking before, and this has never happened. Something happened that triggered you to go after this. There, you gotta be able, you gotta know this is going to get here, no matter what. That's who he is. He was in town to broadcast the NFL game. So I I hope the guy gets well and gets okay, but I hope Mark gets looked after and checked up on.
Yeah, I really wish Mark well. I was just really speaking to the details of this whole scenario because like you said, something had to happen. Maybe words were exchanged, you know. But either way, if somebody is walking away, they tell you this even when they train you to have firearms and things of that nature. You if somebody's walking away, you can't do that. You know, you can stand your ground, but if somebody's walking away, it's supposed to be over. That falls under the guidelines of self-control. What do you think, Stat?
I just hope they figure it out because even just seeing the footage to begin with, like the way that Mark Sanchez literally got stabbed and was able to bounce back and just walk freely. Meanwhile, we see the 69-year-old man in the hospital struggling, which looks like for his life. Again, don't want to put words into people's situations because I was not there, but it looks real bad. And it's like, you want to hold people accountable, but then when you hear felony charges, it's like, I also am not the one to be policing people because that's also not the type of person that I am. But it's just an unfortunate situation that could have been avoided. So I hope
So
he gets the help that he needs.
if you got a grandpa, both of you, if you got a grandpa and your grandpa say one of these football players rushed him, do you care what team he used to play for?
No.
That's
No.
what
I don't even care if he's a football player.
That's what I'm
Because
speaking
ain't nobody
from.
touching my grandpa. That's what I'm
Yeah,
saying.
that's what I'm speaking from.
My
It is a grandpa.
grandparents, my parents, my sister, none of that. So that's a whole different story. So yeah,
Yeah.
you hear that, you don't see labels. You see the incident that happened and the damages that were done at the end of the day. So yeah.
What about you, Mike? Somebody rushed your grandparents, but he was a Heisman. I gotta stop playing, Mike. I play too much.
Mike's, you don't want to hear his
man.
answer. You don't want to hear Mike's answer.
Mike, I want to hear your answer. The people want to hear your answer. This is a Heisman, though, Mike. This is a Heisman.
But yeah, I know. And even the way you're describing that is the doom for Mark Sanchez. All that talking you guys are doing. You know, now we got Mark Sanchez, a Heisman Trophy rushing the man, you know, rushing the old man. Yeah, I just saying, man, it's such a crazy situation that, yeah, somebody, you got to look into that.
Yeah, hope they figure it out. But let us know what you guys think about it in the comments down below because I know y'all have been wanting us to talk about it.